So got it.
Okay. All right.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so our first order of business, and I'm going to, since I've been hijacked a few times prior, we have to vote to see who is chairman, co-chairman, and clerk, since we have, since I've been reelected, from what I understand is a 2-year term. So,
so that I don't know if we have any specific bylaws for sewer, but the only bylaw that the town has is that once a year you select a chairman. There's no requirement for any other position.
So we've always had vice chairman and clerk.
Okay.
So, so Wayne, do you want to be chairman?
No, I'd like to be clerk.
Paul, what do you think?
I'm good at vice chair at the moment.
Oh, geez.
If clerk is taken.
You know, this at least it's not as bad as the last time this happened when Mr. Beck was with us. And then at the end of the meeting, he came up and said, okay, Bill McGowan is going to be chair. And he and Wayne voted me in without me even realizing what was going on for the second time. So anyway, okay.
So yeah. Is there any further discussion?
I think there has to be a formal vote on it. So
yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion. I'm just looking to see if there's any further discussion. That's part of the motion.
Well, there is, but I think I'd take up the whole meeting. But anyway, go ahead.
So I'd like to make a motion for Bill McGowan as chairman, Paul Kears as vice chairman, and Wayne Sawchuk as clerk.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Now, Bill McGowan will abstain.
Paul Kears, aye.
Wayne Sawchuk.
All right, thank you, guys.
I guess you don't want to vote.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. All right. So, Lisa, what Cook Estate is our first?
Yes, Cook Estate first.
All right.
And I think Sean is on the phone today.
Yes.
Actually, no, I circled back, so I did make it to my office. But
okay. All right. Good.
So we had the survey in hand. I've dealt with FR Mahoney. They've selected pumps. We've sized the main. I sent it to Dan and received comments back from him last evening regarding, I think, some materials and stainless steel and things like that. Certainly well received, and we will advance that final design. I do need to get some information, I guess, about the utilities in the school property, whether that's through DigSafe or what, just to specifically locate where the main's going to go. I am meeting tomorrow on site with an electrical engineer to try and figure out how to get service to this, to the new pump station in the field. It's a little different than what would be a residential connection in that it's kind of isolated. It would be as part of the condo association as far as a service goes. So we're just going to try and analyze. I know there's street lights out there, so maybe we can piggyback off of that. We are also going to be specifying a generator and a location for that. We want permanent backup power for it. Most of the other houses in the Cook Estates have backup power, so we want to make sure that the new pump chamber has that ability as well. I know Dan had pointed out maybe some of these pumps will be running if power went out and then they kicked back on, will they all be firing? But it's my understanding that all the existing houses that have pumps have backup power. So I think that it would just function as normal for the system as it goes along. And that's what we want to provide for the new pump station as well. So that's kind of where we are from last time, a couple of weeks ago. We are advancing it along. Like I said, the E1s, FR Mahoney seems to think that for the single family unit at the Heggies house, which is for the easement, that's about a 6 to an 8 week lead time. And the DH, 152 for the multi-units could probably be mid to end of July. It's a standard pump, doesn't need to be like H20 under pavement or anything like that. It's going to be in the field. So they feel as though we can get that towards the end of July, which I think fits nicely with what we're hoping to have for schedule. Don't know if you guys have any questions.
I'm good.
So you're going to be submitting plans at some point?
Yes, I had submitted just a rough markup to Dan the other day, showing the sizing of the main and the kind of the zone breakdown through E1, their design software. So I think we've settled on a pipe size. He sent back, again, comments about valves and fittings needing to be of a certain quality, stainless steel, and with the town or you guys going to maybe take ownership and be, so we're going to add that. We're going to put construction details, try and finalize the layout, and I think we'll be in decent shape.
So what do you think? Like 2 or 3 weeks away?
Yep.
Okay, so sometime about the first full week of June, maybe.
Yep, that's the goal.
Okay, yep, by the 10th anyway. And also, I just wanted to reiterate, we wanted to go with whatever plans are sent in to go from the school first to Cook. Okay, just I think that's what we agreed to in our last meeting.
Yeah, start at the school and move back. That way you're off the property,
Yeah.
and then do what we can. There's a little bit of, I guess, because we're replacing existing systems, so we do need to be careful of what we're, taking offline as we go, but we can certainly work around that.
I think the school's in till about the 3rd week of June. So I just, I know you're not going to be, digging a hole anytime soon there, but I think I know they're out by the end of June by state law. So,
yeah.
Have you picked a contractor for this?
Go ahead, Sean.
No, we've talked to a few, or we, and I think we got the list of who the licensed drain layers are. But I sat with one to get an order of magnitude of a cost estimate for the condo association, and there's a couple of local guys that are still in the mix, but generally speaking, they seem like they would be available. So.
And so have the couple that we wanted to do to actually do an RFP to just make sure that from a cost standpoint, we were getting the best price for the work. But we also know part of the requirement will be that it has to be done this summer. So we're working on that list with Sean currently in the board. Just the easement, I believe, was sent to the town council to review and comment. And I don't think I've heard anything back yet. And I just wanted to make sure that if one of you guys could shake that tree a little bit, just so that that doesn't end up holding us up.
I can follow up with that.
Okay, thank you, Pam.
Okay, so Pam's going to follow up on that.
Yeah. So we on our end, I know our attorney and Brian Hagee's attorney have in concept agreed, and then we'll see what you guys say and see if we can put it together in terms of get it done and signed. I think our timing is good on it.
Is there any other agreement other than the easement that you need to have in place with the abutter?
Not that I'm aware of. I do know they have to apply to be hooked up, and they have not done that yet because we're still in negotiation. But okay, they an application, and I made them aware of it before, and I'll make them aware again. And Lisa, if they have questions, they can go to you, right?
Lisa? Yes.
Okay. Currently.
Oh, is that going to change too?
that may change.
All right.
One thing I wanted to do though is I wanted to just understand that we've got we may have a cart in front of the horse with the neighbors. So I think because any hookup you have to submit a plan. So they're going to be part of your plan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would recommend that his application be submitted at the same time with yours and
Okay.
the plans. Yeah.
Great.
That way they'll come in together, and the fees will be assessed, and we'll have one group of plans for the property.
Great. Thank you.
Does that sound
Yep.
doable, Bill and Wayne?
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think the easement sort of takes care of that, but yeah, I think we just do one set. So,
Okay.
Same contractor that's doing the job will also do the connection to the house. And
Yes. Yes.
so that's really part of the original application, in my point.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a separate application fee though, because it's a separate property.
Jane, do you guys actually have a timeline set up that's got like little milestones on it for this project?
Not yet, because we were waiting to get the engineering done, to get you guys to sign off, and then it goes out for bid. And then we hope to turn it around within 2 weeks from that.
Okay,
Is that reasonable?
sounds good.
Sean, am I right on that?
Yes.
Great.
So Pam, could you get to Bill McGowan once you hear from town council on the easement piece of it? Because Greg Corbo is our counsel. He's going to, when that's completed, he's going to have to roll all of this into an agreement with Cook for the sewer commission.
Yeah, I assume Greg Corbo was the one who is the town council. That's who you submitted to, right, Jane?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the you gave us to send the easement to
Yeah.
review, add your, so it's the
Okay,
same.
so it's going directly to Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know he's with the same firm. I know when we reference town council, we reference the attorney that meets with the town manager and selectmen. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I meant Greg. Whoever you gave us was the name, and it's Greg. So
Yeah, so it's KP Law, and I think basically we have 3 lawyers that work out at KP Law, and some of them are assigned to different groups and stuff. But
okay,
I'm gonna go up and just talk to Chris Senior and just see, I'll tell him what the situation is and make sure he follows up.
great. Thank you. I assume we'll have a detailed timeline for construction when, as part of our the project as it moves into the next phase.
Mhm. Okay.
Sean, you may want to check with Brian Joyce. I'm sure there's site plans for the school that has the existing utilities. So that will help. And then anything that you can't get off of those, you may have to send a surveyor out to pick up inverts or something like that, direction pipe.
Okay.
And also, Sean, if you could, any engineering plans that you have that you sent to Jan, if you can also copy Brian and or me, would be great.
I will. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah, well, I guess so. You guys
Okay.
happy?
We are. So far, so good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Great. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
All right. Next, we have CJC
Okay.
promote Alfred Morgan. It looks like he's the only one present. But we added that just to for an update for us regarding Dan's responses to Mark Negrati's stuff, I believe.
Yeah, I went over basically it was the January 13th or something like that. Preliminary comments we had addressed. So Wayne and I went through most of those, not completely, but just about finished. And I also have taken a look at his revised plans that he submitted. He did incorporate some of the original recommendations we had. So I'm in the process right now of just finalizing the comments to send back out to him. But like I said, there's still some issues regarding the adoption of testing criteria and some other items that obviously have evolved over time as we have low pressure sewer systems in town. And I think Negrati's initial comments were that if they're not in the rules and regs, so we're just going to do what we feel is appropriate, which may be okay, but we do have some specifications and testing criteria that we'd like to have done. And I believe the agreement does call for them to abide by any criteria we establish. So I am going back to him and asking him to comply with the standard testing protocols that we used in Little Harbor and in Central.
So where are those published, Dan?
I'm sorry?
Where are those published that he
only in the contract documents that evolved? You know, our rules and regs were from an era of about 99 to 2000 or so. And I think these specifications really evolved in the 2006, 2007 era when we were doing Little Harbor.
So where are those specifications written that he would see them and know to comply to them is what I'm asking. Are we?
I sent them those in the very beginning during the agreement negotiations, as well as several times during the review process.
Okay, so this specific document or just a couple of emails? Is it, do we have something that's published that we?
No, we do not.
Okay.
As a town document, we don't, which is another item. I mean, one of the things that we had been talking about was basically updating the rules and regs and incorporating some of these documents as appendix into the rules and regs. And
right, because if it's hard for them to, if they're going by the rules and regs and they're not in there, it's hard for them to comply to something. My concern is that, you know, Cook is going to be doing the same thing. They're just going to be looking at what's published and not know that these are additional items. So if you want to send us a list of what you think needs to be published so that we can at least, you know, bring them in front of Cook as well, you know?
Yeah, I was anticipating to submit them to Sean as well, as far as testing criteria, but I can certainly distribute those again.
I mean, is he going to apply to the Harbor project as well?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything on the Harbor project yet.
Okay, yeah, because my concern is we have things that aren't published, so people don't know what to comply to. We should probably take a look at that.
Which was my point, is if we wanted to reinitiate the rules and regs and try to bring that to a public hearing and then maybe a fall town meeting. But I would need
have to take a look at. Yeah, so I suppose we could start a process where if you submit what you think, some draft of what you think needs to be changed, we might be able to put it on the fall town meeting, you know.
Right. Typically, we do a public hearing process for the rules and regs. I mean, it's just in case anybody wants to voice an opinion. Usually, it's just filled with developers and drain layers, but for the most part, we do try to do that as part of the process.
Okay, yeah, because we'd like to, if we can get this, you know, cleaned up, and maybe we review these once every 5 or 7 years or something. I don't know.
Right, and what we had talked about probably about a year ago or so, maybe even more, was going to work with Wayne on this, and we did start doing some of these as well, but we weren't putting them together for the public meeting. I don't know if you want me to reinitiate that with Wayne to review these.
Yeah, well, I guess, Bill, we probably should take a look at the scope of work that we have in what we're working on currently to see if we want to add this to that list right now or not. Right. I know you.
Right.
I don't want to just off the cuff have Dan start working on stuff without us not reviewing what he's already working on, and then do we want to add to that this additional scope?
Yeah, I guess my thought on this whole thing is what, if anything, is different or deviates from what the Mass DOT is saying they require. Or is this?
Yeah, Mass DOT really doesn't get involved with sewer design.
No. Well, I was actually thinking about the manhole covers specifically, but as far as the sewer design, yeah, they're going to, regardless of, I think it's regardless of what we have published, they have to go by what our latest design criteria should be. And that is in the agreement.
Right.
And it's pretty damn clear. And if they don't have it, they should ask us for it. So
Yeah, they've had it several times.
yeah, okay. So I mean, we should give them whatever, whatever is out there and say, okay, this is what you need.
And that's what I plan to do in our response.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want this to be a recurring theme where every time we got to go to Cook Estate now, they're looking at what's published requirements, and then they're going to go by what the general industry standards are. And then Dan's going to say, oh, but, we want these requirements, but they're not published anywhere. So how are they going to know? Right. And then we're going to get to the harbor project. We're going to have the same problem.
Yeah.
The regulations have been kind of drafted, redrafted over the past, 5 years to some degree, just never brought to town meeting for approval. And we've been, as things have been changing and evolving, we've been adding periodically to them, like the pressure regulations. Those are incorporated as an appendix. We do have some additional details that weren't in there before that were developed during Little Harbor, but I think it's pretty close in terms of what we can put together as a draft. We were adding significant information on FOG, which is fats, oils, and grease, which was very light in the 2000 specifications, and those regulations on a statewide base have evolved a lot. So we have added some along that line, as well as additional criteria for commercial and industrial. But we don't have a significant influence there. So, but we wanted to make sure that was covered as well. So my point is basically, I think it would be good for me to meet again with Wayne a couple of times, and then just go through our changes and what we have for a draft, and then issue a draft. And at that point in time, everybody can review it, and then you can discuss if we want to have a public hearing, and ultimately bring it to town meeting for the fall.
Okay, if most of the work has been done on what needs to be changed, it's a matter of putting a draft together and getting together with Wayne to review it.
Correct.
I can't see that being more than 10 or 20 hours.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I think we should just do it.
I agree.
What do you think, Wayne?
Yeah, I agree. There's, a little bit like a planning board type of thing that the planning board really now has the ability to make changes and publish them without going back to town meeting, because they were given the authority at town meeting to be able to do that. And so I think a lot of what we're looking at are not really town meetings. They're not anything about expanding sewer. They're not, putting limits on it. They're not raising prices. It's the day-to-day operational things that are covered by it. So I think
we may be able to just change it without having to go to town meeting.
I think so.
Okay.
Unless there's an object in that requires a town vote. Like I said.
Right. So basically all we're doing is refining what we've already had approval on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in worst case, Greg can review it, but based on what I read in the bylaws, I think the only thing that had to go to town meeting was the changes in district,
right,
and rates.
Right. Which I should mention. We do have that bylaw that established the sewer districts, and I reference it in the rules and regs, but it's not part of the rules and regs, because again, that does go to town meeting. The only aspect of that we'll need to do is we'll need to incorporate into that district, and we have a map on a lot by lot base, exactly which lots are being added with the CJC and the Cook Estates. So there is some revisions on the district map that we'll need to do once those connections are finalized.
Yeah. That's actually sort of been that was sort of described at town meeting for the vote, but it didn't specifically show or point out, that it's going to take this course or anything else.
Right. So you do have a district map that is referenced and that is used on a lot by lot base. And the only thing is we need to just add those additional lots.
Right.
To update that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
if you want to just So Dan, maybe by the second week of June, you can send a proposal to Bill of what you think it's going to take to pull a draft together so we can review it and see if we can approve it without a town meeting vote. Because Cook is going to have their plans submitted by the middle of June.
Yep.
We want to make sure that they get a copy of whatever we can get to them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe you are required to bring them to town meeting for approval. I just know historically the town manager has always wanted that done, and the Sioux Commission in the past has complied with that. Thinking it's better for the whole town to vote on it as a whole.
Well, if you submit the drafts to us, then we can, as a commission, we can make that decision.
Yes.
Okay. I just want you to run past the hours past Bill, so we know what we're getting into.
Yeah, like you said, I would think it's under 20 hours based on what we have.
Okay.
And as always, please copy me.
Exactly. So is there any comments from Mr. Morgan? I know you're on mute there, but I don't know. Are you waiting on anything from us?
Oh, I'm just an observer at this point.
Okay.
Thank you for asking, though.
Is there any further discussion on CJC?
I'm good.
Well, I think Dan had sent some comments on the manhole covers, but I think that we're kind of bound to what was submitted.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we went through that whole manhole cover last month or last meeting.
Yeah, I mean, if it meets the DOT, I don't know what else. We don't have to really do anything else.
Yeah.
Again, my only point was it is in the zone A, and typically and historically we've made those watertight covers. And I think the DOT's requirement is simply that the top cover is not a gasketed cover because they don't want it wobbling and wearing out over a period of time. And they do want it to have a bolt down cover. And the one I sent you just for your review is basically meets that criteria and also has an internal gasketed cover, which makes it watertight. And I think last time Negrati was just saying this is the one that was approved by the state. But I mean, you do have some say in it if you wanted a watertight cover in the zone A.
Yeah, I think Brian gave us his opinion on that. He said it wasn't worth the headache with that extra seal inside.
Right. I think getting at it, if you need to get at it, much more difficult. If you want to just lift the cover and see what there might be a blockage or whatever, it just isn't worth it to me. And I've never seen the situation where 3A has been covered over with any water. It's just, if they were going up the shoulder and close to the wetlands, I would probably, in it, then I would certainly say, yeah, you want to get extra added protection.
Yeah, it's not so much water in, it's more keeping the water, if there is a blockage, that it doesn't overflow in Peppermint Brook or something like that. And we did have that in one occurrence, where we did have a surcharge.
Yeah, but
that's fine.
Okay, thank you. So I think we go with what we talked about last week, 2 weeks ago.
I got it.
Thank you.
So Bill, you want to move on to 147 South Main?
Yeah, I don't have an agenda, so yeah, fine.
Yeah, that is next. And we have John Schiavo. I hope I didn't mangle that name.
So this is the property that is across from St. Anthony's, right on the corner of Pond and South Main.
The old gas station.
Yep, it's the old garage, right? So
they used to have boxing events. They used to have boxing events in there.
Exactly. So John was kind enough to come before the Affordable Housing Steering Committee, and in his reconstruction of that building, he was going to add a not required to, but was going to add a affordable unit. So John, you're on mute if you want to speak.
Good morning. I was having a little trouble there.
No problem.
Just get in.
So you're on the agenda. I was just kind of explaining because I'm also on the Affordable Housing Steering Committee. I know you talked to us about adding that extra apartment over there, and
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So and thank you for that once again.
Oh, you're more than welcome. It's my pleasure.
So where do we stand, John? on
Basically, I'm just waiting. A meeting, in fact, with the building inspector at the site this morning at 10:30, and we're just ready to excavate and put the foundation in. So we're looking for just a sign off on the building, permit, and then we'll, submit any plans that we need to comply with the sewer tie. There's an existing tie in there now, obviously from the building that was there.
Right. I think our concern was we're not really sure the condition of the existing stub that goes there, because I think it ended up going in and then coming up through the concrete floor.
Yes.
Going to tear the old concrete floors out and stuff. We're concerned about not having any pollutants or anything or any damage to the pipe that's going out to the street. And our consulting engineer recommended that if this pipe is extended, you want a particular type of rubber gasket that doesn't corrode with any motor vehicle or gasoline or anything like that may be located in the area of the pipe.
Yeah, no, there shouldn't be anything there. We did soil testing and we found nothing, so there shouldn't be an issue.
Did you find the pipe during soil testing? In other words,
yeah, and that pipe we actually put in with JP Barbuto Contracting. And the pipe so far has inspected fine. We found no issue because we capped it off. We inspected the pipe during the demolition of the building because we capped it off.
Okay, because I wasn't sure that was done. That was.
Oh yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, all the utilities were capped off and inspected.
Okay.
So at this point, we would just be expecting plans from the site, Wayne?
Well, I viewed the plans, like the architectural drawings and stuff like that, but didn't really specific plan of what, for instance, are they going to, Mr. Scavo, run the pipe along and then maybe have 3 T's going up, and will it be in the foundation area?
Specifically, yes. And if you look at the plans, it goes right into the utility room.
Oh, okay. Now, is the utility room below grade? Is it in the?
It's actually slab on grade, so the piping will be underneath, and then it will come up, through the floor. It's a slab on grade building.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the part that's most interesting. That's the part that we want to make sure is done well.
Absolutely.
And then done by plumbing, and plumbing permits and stuff. So
yes,
I don't have any objection to proceeding with what you're doing. We just want to make sure that someone from our board or someone from our sewer plant inspects it where it's coming out of the ground. And
surely, absolutely. Before anything is backfilled, everything will be inspected
okay, then
and totally in compliance.
Okay.
Whatever it takes.
So have you applied for a permit?
Yes, the permit's been paid for. I got a pre-construction meeting with the building inspector in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Right. And all the other boards have signed off.
So he's waiting for a sewer sign off on the building plans, and that's why he's here today. And as far as sewer goes, he is paid up on two EDUs for that property. So right now, the plans that he has in the building department consists of 3 retail spaces on the first level, and then 2 bedroom apartments on the second and third levels. And I'm not sure how the sewer connection fee would be calculated, but he does have 2 EDUs paid in full by sewer betterment.
He had a, he obviously must have had a previous connection since we're talking about.
Right.
Is it 1 or 2 connections though?
I've paid for 2 in the past and I've used 1.
Yeah, I'm talking about physical connections. This is not only the gas station lot, but the lot next to it, correct?
No, this is just 147 South Main Street.
Yep. So
There
the
was
gas station's at the end.
right. That's nothing to do with me.
Okay.
Right. But I did at the time, because of the way the addresses were set up, I had 147, 147A. It was both commercial and, residential. So I paid for 2 sewer tie-ins, planning if I wanted to expand in the future or, whatever, never expecting what happened to happen. But I've always looking down the road. I'm a real estate investor and developer. So I did that at the time. So
I think generally we do accept applications for reuses, and this would be like a change in use.
Mm-hmm.
And basically just detail what the building is going to entail.
Sure.
And that way we can check it, make sure that the EDUs match up and there's no additional fees.
Okay. And if there is additional fees, whatever it is.
Okay.
Whatever can be calculated. I don't have a problem with it.
So I can sign off on that and put that caveat on the sign off.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll do that when I get back to the office today.
Thank you very, very much, and looking forward to working with the board.
Okay.
Good luck. Thanks so much, John.
Thank you so much.
Good luck this morning.
Alrighty, and you enjoy the day.
Thanks.
Bye.
We don't have any abatements, and other business. I think we invited Chris Senior, but I don't see him on here. He did respond as tentative attendance, but I don't see him.
Did he respond to come on at a specific time? Like, did we tell him 10:30? No.
No.
Do we want to do something for the future on discussions with Situate?
That's why we were having him on, is we wanted to get something going.
Yeah, that was part 1. But part 2 was to talk about Lisa's replacement.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to find out what the plan is, because I am not going to go through the crap that we went through 2 times ago and I told Brian this when they just brought somebody in and said, here's your new sewer administrator. That's just, as I said then, it's a lack of common courtesy is a milder way to put it. But we need to have a way of how we're going to, there has to be a transition period in this whole thing. And if not, I just don't want to have somebody appointed to us and say, okay, see you later.
So I think that it has been the topic, Bill, that you will be involved in the selection process. Also, I sat down with Chris yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
And so far, I'll be covering both.
Okay.
I'll still be covering the meetings and doing administration for the sewer commission and Brian until we get a replacement. So.
Yeah, and I mean, not to handcuff you, but also just to make sure that person is trained up to a sufficient level that, they know how to spell sewer. So.
Okay, so I think it's important for her to keep in touch with us.
Yeah. So, all right, and I do believe, Paul, to your piece, I think that there's either town meeting or elections in Situate or this week, right? I think it's something. I think it's pretty close if it hasn't happened. And what's his name? Jim said that they weren't going to really do anything until after that happens, and then they'll re-engage with us. And that was.
I believe I'm sorry. I believe elections was on Saturday.
Okay. When is the town meeting?
Already had it.
Okay, so then they should be ready to start engaging with us then.
Yeah, they voted for the $50 million water treatment.
Oh, they did? Wow.
Treatment plot, $50 million for what? Sewer treatment?
Water.
So for a reservoir or something.
Which I said they should have paid $50 million for a sewer plant and bought the water from us.
The water is terrible here. Terrible.
We'll exchange them. We'll give them wastewater. They can take the water.
Yeah,
too.
we got more water than we know what to do with.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're selling water to Hingham. We could have sold water to Situate, you know, and then they could have spent $50 million on a sewer plant. We could have pumped sewer to them.
Well,
you could put a lot of wells in for that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So
where are they gonna put it?
I don't know. Some more things coming up on their fall town meeting, so not sure what those issues are, but
well, they're getting all the taxes from all those hundreds of new buildings and condos and stuff on the Driftway. So
yeah, I know.
But anyway, we're on.
Yeah. All right. So what is next, Lisa?
That's it. That's all I have.
Oh, good.
So then the next meeting would be Tuesday the 7th?
Yep.
June 7th. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be traveling that day, but I don't know what time I travel. So I could, if it's 9:30 in the morning, I might be able to get on and then jump off.
So I'll be covering meetings still until such replacement. However, June 7th, my husband has a doctor's appointment that I have to take him to in the morning. He just had surgery. He had his Achilles tendon reconstructed, so he's immobile.
What about the 8th? What if we moved it to the 8th?
I'm good with the 8th.
Okay, I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah, Paul.
Okay. Yeah. I'll. I won't be able to make the 8th. My son's graduating down in Philly, and his ceremony's at 8:30 in the morning. So if you want to do the 14th and 28th, that gives Cook some time to get their plans to us. So those are the alternative Tuesdays, the 14th and 28th.
I think Chris might be on.
Yeah, I just texted him. So.
Oh, okay.
He said he'll jump on shortly, so I don't know.
Whatever. I mean, if we do it the 14th, that's fine. I don't think there's that much cooking that, other than the cook estate, obviously, but.
They said they should have all their plans done. The agreements are with the attorney. So if we hear from Greg, we should hear from Dan on the drafts of any additional rules that we want.
Yep.
Okay, so the 14th then?
Yeah, 14th would be good.
Let's plan the 14th and 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wayne, did you have a question at the beginning of the meeting or before the meeting? You mentioned something about the quarterly report.
No, but I was mentioning that's the first time I've seen that, and I didn't have a chance because you just got it yesterday, but I thought it was interesting from what I was just sort of scanning with my brain, the little checkoffs and stuff by Woodward and Curran, which I thought was pretty good, and the first part of it was the idea that our flows are right up there at the 80% level, but most of the comments that I had a chance to read this morning were good on quality of the effluent and stuff like that.
Yeah, the only concern I have is the grit screw and the grit chamber have been out of service for a long time, and we're not generating any grit, but we used to generate a lot of grit. So my guess is it is flushing through the system. And back about 2 months ago, Scott indicated that he was having problems with the supplemental aeration in the tanks.
Right.
And it could be that we have a lot of grit in those tanks, and it's basically on top of the supplemental aeration. So the grit screws, really, we need to really address that and have that repaired. And I'm not sure budget-wise where you are, but It is
Yeah, but
Didn't we order one, I thought?
I think so. We
Yeah.
gave them the go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was ordered.
Grit screw, or you're talking about the sledge thickener?
I thought
No, grit
both.
screw. The latest one was the grit screw.
Okay, good.
Can you find out what's going on with it?
Sure.
And then, so in addition to that, could you find out what's the process since we approved $80,000 at town meeting to upgrade Tupelo and Deer Hill stations, when those are going to occur?
So we gave them the go ahead for the pump. I believe it was through Hayes to order, to go ahead and order that. I know that that was one of the steps anyways.
Okay. And we do have Chris Senior on, so if we could be mindful of his time and promote him. I think he's on mute.
Yep,
okay.
He's promoted. Oh.
Hey, what is it? Casual Tuesday?
Yeah.
Casual. I've been dealing with some smoky fires, so yeah.
Oh, I thought you were on the. You look like you're on the Harbor Committee.
Yeah, exactly. That's my role there. Congratulations on your re-election, Bill.
Yeah, hard fought fight. So, and for some reason, I was
clamoring for that seat. People were clamoring for that.
And I'm sure they were. I wish they clamored more. So, but anyway,
what can I do for all of you this morning?
So two things. One is wanted to talk about reinvigorating discussions with Scituate on sewer. And second, I did get an update. We did get an update from Lisa, but wanted to talk about how her replacement, that process will be done, so that we are we're not only involved, but we also have coverage while the person is being trained. So
let's take the second one first. Lisa's been tentatively, as you know, well, she's been approved to become the new assistant in assessors, because Lisa Legg has gone on to become the town clerk. So congratulations to Lisa for her victory in the town clerk's race. And then Lisa will slot over. That said, as I told Lisa yesterday when I met with her and Mary Quill and Kim Roy, our HR director, I told Lisa that, well, we're all excited. She really can't go anywhere officially. She can help with assessors. That said, her primary responsibility still remains with sewer and public works until we get a replacement, because I can't, we can't leave you folks without that support. That said, we'd like to be able to post something. So we can if you we met yesterday talking about this. So Kim Roy, Kim, who was the acting clerk, is now the HR director. So she's taken Miriam Johnson's role as the HR director. So Kim is working, is going to take the old job description and circulate it to all of you. If you'd like to take a look at it and make some comments, that would be great. Yep. If you'd rather have like one person designated to work with Kim and I, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll just circulate it all to all of you. We'll get some comments back, and once we get that back, we'll post it, and then we'll get resumes. Typically, what we do is like a pre-screen to get people who are seem to be the right quality kind of candidate we're looking for, and then we'll do interviews. And again, again, if you want to do it with all three of you, that's great. If you'd rather do it with like one of you as the point person, and then bring a final candidate to the board, you let me know how you want to do it.
Yeah, I think with Michelle and with Lisa, we did all three of us, but individually type of thing. So there wasn't, we didn't have to scan it, we didn't have to post it and all that stuff, which would be probably best. I'm also, I want to be sure that we have, once we hire somebody, that there is a training period that we just don't, throw this person into the fire and say, okay.
Here's the nice benefit. Lisa will literally be the next office down the hall. So, yeah. And Michelle's also in the building, right? So the good news is that the last two people who've done the job will still be working for the town. So whoever gets hired will have plenty of support, which is awesome. And literally on the same floor with Lisa literally being right next door. So yeah. I don't think that should be a problem. The only thing we just want to confirm is we want to make sure that the job responsibilities are still what the commission is looking for, and the skills. And again, we can definitely do that, where people meet individually. Again, Kim will lead that process. And But again, so the first step will be to get all of you copies of the job description so you could give us some feedback. So I'll see if we can get that, folks, to all of you emailed in the next day or two, because I know it's being worked on now. And it is a unionized position, so we still have to work through the constraints of that. So
and Brian Joyce is involved in this as well, right? Because is this position still going to be? Is this position still going to be 50% DPW, 50% sewer?
And that's the way. I mean, if everyone's comfortable with it, yes, we'll keep it that way. I mean, if again, one of the questions here, Paul, is, do you folks feel that's working? If that's working, that's great. If you want to, tweak that, just let us know and we'll make some adjustments. I do think that the support for DPW will probably shift to facilities a little bit more than DPW specifically, because I think facilities is part of DPW, but they need a little more admin assistance than that Brian Joyce does personally. So that said, it'll still be in the, it'll all be in the unified DPW unit, which is really, really helpful. So, any other questions for me on that one?
No.
Again,
I guess with the job description, I guess it's just going to be a little different, right? Because we've got someone we want specific knowledge on sewer, on the interaction and administrative side, especially with the residents and contractors. You're going to need that person to also have experience on facilities or DPW side, right?
Well, I basically, it's very hard to find people with that kind of concrete experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We generally look for people who have the skills working with billing, contracting, constituents, customer service kind of things, right?
Okay.
I mean, Lisa didn't come out of this either. Lisa had a real estate background, among other things, right? She's done a great job doing this. The key is to be able to be adaptable. And again, the nice thing is that, again, we have a really nice team in the building itself, but also right there on the second floor that are very supportive of each other. So, and with Lisa right there, anyone that gets hired will have, that resource literally right there. Let me circulate that, Paul. I guess that's true. You haven't been with us for one of these searches before. So let me get that job description out to you in the next couple of days. And then any feedback would be great. Then we'll post. We have to post internally first, and then we can post externally. I think it's an internal posting period of a week or 10 days, something like that.
Is this going in that? Is that going in the state? Is that going in the state portal?
We can put it in a lot of places. We usually put it on the MMA job site.
Okay. Yeah.
And if there's any other places you want to circulate it to, and sometimes we put them on Indeed. Believe it or not, we've actually had some success with Indeed.
Yeah.
Which is the hot job job posting board. But if any of you want to circulate it yourselves, you're free to. I mean, put it out there once we get it settled. Typically, there's an ad. There's a job description. We usually try to put a little more pithy ad together that there's just a few lines directing people back to the website of the town where the application. So, and again, the goal is to do this, fairly quickly. That said, again, Lisa's not going to leave supporting the commission until we have somebody ready to go.
All right.
And as I mentioned yesterday, the assessor's office and the sewer, and where I was in the sewer office, we collaborated a lot on different things because they're both connected, really, both assessors and sewer. So I can see this happening.
Lisa will be right there. She's promised me she's not going anywhere. So
we know where she lives too.
There you go. So on the first point you raised, Bill, so would you like me to try to facilitate a meeting? I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we really would like, them to come to the board, because Wayne and I haven't heard anything from them directly, so we're just relying on Bill's meeting notes and hearsay.
I thought those were superb.
So just, Wayne's got a lot of questions on, and I do too, is, what did your decision tree look like when you got to the point where, running to South Main is the answer? What things did you look at and say, no, this doesn't make sense, and help us understand how we can help, and how we can move forward with it. So we just had a lot of questions in that decision tree process. And then secondly, I've spoken with Joan Machino on a number of occasions because she posts office hours the same Monday we have our Elder Affairs Board meeting. So I usually catch her after the board meeting, and she's offered to help or whatever she can. But so what I asked is, so I understand Situate is applying for whatever grants they can find, federal, state, regional. And I'd like to understand what those are. And is there anything there that we as a town of Cohasset would apply for that would complement what we're trying to do? So I don't know where they're looking to get financial support, but certainly if we're going to do something and call it regional, there should be some funding available for regional. You know, I'd be more than happy to get involved with trying to find out where that is. It shouldn't be the sole responsibility of Situate to go find all the money, though it seems like they're heading in that direction, which is great. But if there's funding available for us, I'd like to understand where he's looking.
No, I understand. I'm happy to try to set something up. You know, the Situate just went through a whole process of seeking state funding for upgrades around facilities involving another project they were doing in town. So they're, you know, at the edge of, you know, they've had a lot of experience doing this, which is the reason they've kind of taken a point on seeking additional state support. The state has a lot of funds available right now. Okay. And right now what's happening is member item market markups going on. So there's a lot of money in the system. There's a lot of funds potentially available for wastewater projects, and the state is at the moment is so very supportive of regional solutions. So I think I think what's being sought after now is whether or not there's any available money that would be allocated by the legislature directly that might apply to this project, and it would subsidize the cost for all three communities. Not, you know, obviously not just Situate. It would go to the project as a whole, and it reduce the cost for everybody. You know, including any work that the town would be doing anyway. I'm talking about Cohasset when I say that, on South Main. That said, let me see if I can get something up. Would you like, again, is the request to invite them to a meeting of yours? Is that what you would prefer?
Yeah, we have the 14th of June and the 28th of June as our regular meetings, but if we want to set up one with, he's the only one on the agenda, that would be better.
Yeah, I think we should have a separate meeting.
Okay.
And then do that.
Okay,
but,
we can do that.
All right. Well, that would be good.
All right. Do you want to do it in person or on Zoom?
So the 16th through the 27th, if you can find time, that gives him a couple. I'm sorry, that's May I'm looking at. If you you know, anytime after the 10th.
Yeah, and I think, you know, in person might be a good thing, you know.
Anytime after the 10th of June would be preferable.
All right, let me see what I can find out.
And and if we can do it in person, I mean, the last one was, and I think it you know, watching body language and stuff like that is kind of neat. So
I can see if I can't get you know, the senior center or another facility like that. One of the rooms. Okay. So okay, I'll talk to Tracy.
And we do have a regular sewer meeting on June 14th, so that date would be out.
Right. The 14th and 20th I'll avoid. I'll try to find a different time. By the way, morning, afternoon, what's the best preference for you folks? Does it matter?
First thing in the morning would be great.
Okay. All right.
Then we can quickly discuss things and move on to the business of the people.
Okay. Fabulous.
And Chris, you need a new hat.
Sorry.
I make a motion to adjourn.
That was fast.
You know, no Mets hat. I'm still.
I'm just looking at the clock and it's 10:30 and I got to go to work.
All right. Does somebody Paul? Do you want a second?
Yeah, I just wanted to wish the town manager good luck tonight. I know you. It's a whole new selectman board. I don't know. Is there? Do you know who's going to be chairman, or do we have to wait and see tonight? You're on mute. You're on mute.
All right, I gotta go. Bye-bye.
No. I that's totally a board decision, Paul. So I got nothing to do with that one. So a lot of exciting things coming up. So, you know, I'm hopeful that we'll, it'll be a good start. So.
All right. So we're going to see you this weekend. All weekend?
Hopefully, you know, my dad is not traveling right now, so I may be going to New York to spend time there. We'll see. So it's going to be a game day decision as to whether I go back to New York. So.
Okay.
But if not, you'll see me.
All right. Terrific. Well, I will be not seeing your dad there, but I'll see you this weekend. The parade and the ceremony on Saturday.
Thank you.
So
all.
I'm going to make
all right. Thank you, Chris.
Yep. Going to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second, and roll call. Bill McGowan, aye.
Paul Kearsey, aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care. Later.